Okay, I think by now you guys know the drill. It's been a couple of weeks into April. PMDD and other premenstrual conditions are debilitating, yet often misunderstood and underdiagnosed. The IMPMD helps those with those conditions and also provides support groups and ways to find doctors. They also have a support group in case, say, you had a hysterectomy or your tubes tied. Donate today. And remember, and I do mean this sincerely because even if you don't have a premenstrual disorder, you should probably hear it. You are loved, you are wanted, and you got this. Now on with the video.
Hey. What's going on? Not really sure what I'm supposed to do with you. There's some frozen steaks in the freezer.
OMG. Christ on a stick, is Quagmire my new Brian? Like whenever I need to make a video and fast, I turn to him? Probably. Hi, I'm Kitty Monk and I'm here to talk to you about Family Guy. Or more specifically, Glenn Quagmire. Or even more specifically, Glenn's children. With this video, I will have covered the entire Quagmire family tree, except Glenn's numerous girlfriends, but I'm gonna make that a separate video, and until then, go watch Lydia's take on his many, many loves. But the main thesis of this video is that, well, Quagmire has no right to call Brian a terrible father or a horn dog, when Glenn himself has had numerous children and was allowed the opportunity to raise at least 2 of said children and did a piss poor job of it both times. I mean, I guess the horn dog comment might be appropriate because Brian is a dog, but I'm sure it's a slur to Brian. And you know how I feel about slurs. Only penguins get to say them. But anyways, Glenn is known in Family Guy for his massive quaggle check, I guess you could say. And being a stereotype and all, Quagmire doesn't really practice safely. I mean, I don't mind if you want to live that lifestyle, I just care you're doing it safely, consensually, and you communicate with your partner. No accidents, speaking as one myself. However, Quagmire often forgoes this for pleasure and laziness. At least Peter had a vasectomy. And as a result, he has a fudge ton of kids. He could probably rival Walder Frey in the amount of babies he's made. The amount of Quagmires running unchecked in the great big beautiful beyond tomorrow. So, let's discuss. Normally, when Quagmire has a child, it's treated as a joke. Like an unknown child he doesn't know he had that he quickly abandons when he realizes like, oh crap, I'm a dad, I'm not accepting this major responsibility. For instance, in Tales of a Third Grade Nothing, when Peter was sent back to the 3rd grade, Quagmire came to pick him up early from school and lied and said he was Peter's father. But Mrs. Wilson, aka Mrs. Kill's son, is not convinced because, well...
Daddy?
Oh, God!
Daddy?
Oh, God!
Papa?
Oh, God!
Quagmire, what the heck? Go be a father to your babies! Or don't be a father to the babies, because that sounds a lot better than college. I mean, it sounds a lot better to colleges. I'm sorry, I don't know grammar. I didn't have a dad. I barely knew mine briefly. But yeah, Quagmire came to the school one day, and he ran like a... In episodes like T. Peter, Quagmire also married a giraffe, and he reproduced with it.
Giraffity! Yeah, see, that's not mine.
I have questions. That poor giraffe, especially with a chin like Glenn's, that must have been painful. I mean, those poor women, especially since those kids all have chins like Glenn. Like, oh my god, imagine. He give you one good night and then, oh, chin. Be lucky that Haley and Steve don't share Stan's freak chin. Although we know that Francine is terrible when it comes to birth, so sorry, dude. Finally, in Padre de Familia, we found out there's an alternate Spanish version of Quagmire, meaning he has a Spanish-speaking child. Oh boy.
What are you doing here? You don't have kids.
Don't be so sure, Brian. I've slept with chicks all over the world. Who knows? I could have kids in their 20s. Cuando te pones así, me voy a ver los toros.
However, it's canonical in Foxy Lady that Quagmire is 61, even if most of the modern episodes act like he's in his 40s or at worst like 49, whereas everybody else is like 42. So as a result, this tends to lead to a lot of potential Quagmire babies. And you have to wonder, what if one of those babies did get the urge to track down Quagmire and potentially sue him for back child support? Strangely, so far that hasn't happened, even though I feel like that'd be a pretty good episode. But Quagmire has been forced to confront the realities of fatherhood at least twice. First with Anna Lee and Quagmire's baby, and second with Courtney and no Giggity, no doubt. And I gotta say, while I do have problems with how he handled Anna Lee, not with Anna Lee herself, because I mean, come on, she's a baby, I have some with Courtney too. Not with Courtney herself. She's voiced by Mandy Moore, and I love Mandy Moore. But rather, how he went about being her father father. When you think about it, he abandoned Annalie. Brian did not abandon Dylan until later on, be specific, and I will be bringing up both Dylan episodes a lot in this video. So, let's discuss. In Quagmire's baby, Quagmire comes home one day to find out he's been storked. Oh my god, what if he has a child named Mason Storky? If you get that reference, you are a nerd and I love you. But there's a baby on his doorstep with a note.
A baby? I didn't sell a baby.
Look, there's a note.
Glenn, this is your child. Next time, wear a condom, jerk. Oh my god!
Are we not going to talk about the fact that Annalie's mother technically abandoned her too? Like, this poor kid is not even old enough to be weaned, and she was abandoned by both of her parents. Give Glenn this, at least he tried to be a father, emphasis on tried. I do want the backstory of Annalie's baby mama though. Like, did she just not want Annalie? Could she not provide for Annalie? Who was she even? Like, I know she was one of Glenn's flings, I just get curious. The guys try to reassure Quagmire that Annalie can't possibly be his child.
There's no guarantee it's your baby.
I mean, I'm sorry, dude, but she has black hair and, well...
Giggity?
Oh...
It's the final diggity in the coffin, no offense. Also, Quagmire takes a DNA test off screen and discovers that, yep, Annalie is his spawn. Glenn, to his credit, admits he isn't ready to be a father, and he's not really the parenting type, which is why you wear protection. Like, they invented this nifty little device called a rubber, and they come chocolate chip flavored, and sometimes banana flavored, or strawberry flavored, or at least the ones they offered undergrad did, in my case.
Well, what am I supposed to do? I don't want a baby. I can't be a father.
Well, Glenn, you don't have a choice. This baby is your responsibility.
The point is, I really do not know what to make of this situation. Weirdly, it sounds weird, I was kind of in Annalie's position. Not like I was abandoned on a doorstep, but I didn't know my biological father until I was a bit older, and even now, I don't really know him, which I am 100% fine with. I grew up fine, and I had a good life, and he provides good father for when I need jokes for my videos. Did you just say father? I can't pronounce fodder. You know, like F-O-D-D-E-R? Okay, we're just moving on, okay? It's just that, like the episode said, yes, it is his responsibility, because you can't just really abandon Annalie. She's a baby. Plus, her mother already did, so where else can you really put her? And I think it's best that he at least has a support network this time around. A lot of people don't. He has the Griffins, the Swansons, he has Ida. He can make this work if he so chooses, or he needs extra help. They even make the point that they will help him, and they gave him some stuff, so yeah, he's not alone.
Now, I brought you a basket of things to get you started. There's baby clothes, some toys, and some books. Now, if you have any questions, we're right across the street.
But if he can't take care of Annalie, and he knows he can, honestly, that's another story. Because you know how TV will show you that you don't want to be a parent, and then you see your baby, or you see the baby's ultrasound or something, or you feel the baby kick, and your instincts just automatically kick in. Yeah, that ain't true to life. Glenn is a good godfather to Susie, and a good uncle to Abby. Aw, Abby, I'm an Abby. But there's a massive difference between being a father and being an uncle. Because when you're an uncle, you get to do more fun things, and you're not really responsible, I hate to say. Being a father is a totally different ballpark. It's a lifelong responsibility. An uncle, you could just pop in and pop out, and you'll still be good. Really, the adoption idea he does later on, I hate to say it, is not a bad one, I would argue. Since as we saw, Annalie turned out a lot better for it, as her parents loved her and they had the resources to provide for her. I just think it's a bad idea. He basically decided the only thing he could do was go zero contact, and not out of shame, just like, oh, I can't take care of this kid, bye! If you watch Juno, you know open adoption is a thing, and even if for some reason he couldn't, because I don't know how that whole thing works, there's always the fact he could have tried to get into contact with a couple who adopted Annalie and explain the situation, where he didn't know about Annalie, she was left on his doorstep, he was unable to care for her, but he does want to be there in her life in some capacity, even if it's just sending her some money, or seeing her at holidays, or just them giving him random updates. Sorry, that's my take on the episode. Sorry if it was a bit of a rant. Yes, it's good that Glenn realized he would be a bad father early on, which is why you wrapped your rascal, and you can argue, considering Crystal, that he was breaking the cycle. Since I do want to have kids, but sometimes I feel like the only way to break the cycle is to be sure it can't continue. But I always do try to go for a middle ground approach with these things. That way, he couldn't be abandoning Annalie, I'd argue. argue. He obviously couldn't take care of her, but he would still be with her. But Quagmire does get used to fatherhood, names his daughter, the name I just said, and learns maybe it was a good idea he wasn't present for his daughter's birth if it went anything like Chris and Lois.
And they had to rearrange most of my organs.
Oh, yeah, he dragged half of Lois right out with him.
Yeah, the doctor said I'll be lucky if I live past 50, but Chris is healthy, and I thank God for that.
You know, between this and Stewie placing a bomb in Lois's bits that'll explode when she turns 50, maybe that lady got a bum deal. Was that a pun, Kitty? Strangely, Gaffer, and it was not. I just feel like Lois got a really bad thing. Like, what is it with the Seth MacFarlane moms and them being destroyed by childbirth? However, Quagmire realizes that when you are a father, you have to slow down, so to speak, because now you got a screaming little thing that demands your every constant attention every hour of the day. Which is why, if I ever have kids, I ain't having them until I'm at least 33. I like my freedom, or lack thereof. Quagmire can't entertain ladies because Annalie wakes up and he must deal with her.
You have a baby?
Yeah, it's a long story. Damn kids kept me up every night for 2 weeks. Now, where were we? Giggity, giggity.
Which, if I did have to think of a solution, he could try to structure his dates around his daughter, like schedule-wise, or rather, when you think about it, he would have to. Like, if he knows Annalie wakes up every 3 hours, or he has to feed her every 3 hours, try to cram as much stuff as he can into those 3 hours, and then he can be like, oh, sweetie, we need to take a break, and then he goes to take care of Annalie, and then he goes back, or whatever. Or he could disclose to his dates that he has a daughter, that way they are aware. Or ask if the Griffins or the Swansons can watch her for a few hours that night if he knows he's gonna be a while. Glenn, you have options! But he experiences 2 nightmares. His daughter crying, which puts him to sleep, and also...
You fell asleep, so I took off. It's probably for the best. I've never
Feed the fish.
before, and I probably wouldn't have been much good at it.
Wait, guys actually hate that? I thought they loved it. So Quagmire decides to put Annalie up for adoption. I already went over my little rant. It honestly is for the best, but there are better ways he could have gone about it. To Glenn's credit, at first, he does try to see if he can put her up for adoption in a way where she would still be in his life. Like, he does ask Peter, since the Griffins are right next door, and he does trust Peter and Lois, which I think would be smart. He could do the Lionel Richie thing, and he would always be in her life. He could be like her Uncle Glenn or something. But Peter obviously can't take on a 4th child, all things considered. Strangely, he doesn't think to ask Joe or Bonnie, but maybe he figures they have their hands full with Susie. I don't think they have Kevin, so they probably would be fine with it. I don't know, like, why doesn't he think of asking? Or maybe he knows they'll say no too. But Peter has other ideas.
I think it's too late for that.
Oh, don't let the press put the scare into you. Wade v. Boggs has not been overturned.
Oh, Peter, no, Peter, I am sorry, Peter. However, I do think it's cool how earlier in the video I brought up Mrs. Kill's son because he made fun of the fact his teacher terminated her pregnancy, and here he's actually totally cool with it. Maybe Peter became more progressive, I hate to argue. But Quagmire does go ahead with putting Annalie up for adoption. However, Quagmire is a bit reluctant to give up his daughter as the two did share a bond, and only does so when he's told that it is for the best because she will go to a good, loving family. Which isn't always true in real life. The foster system is crazy. Did you not watch Hell of a Boss? You could be clogged for years and then you turn 18 and they will throw you on the street. But we wouldn't have an episode either way.
She'll go to a good home, right?
Oh, yes.
She'll be somewhere safe, right? Like, you're not gonna put her with sand people, right?
You mean like from Star Wars?
Glenn, have you been listening to Garrison Trump, aka Grump? Just be glad she probably won't go to Jack and Sarah from Love Die Trophy. I kinda wanna know what those kids are up to now since Stewie, ruined them by talking about geopolitical standards. The guys take Quagmire out to celebrate the fact Annalie is no longer an albatross around his neck. But even at a strip club, he can't help but be reminded of Annalie at every given turn. It helps he's a pervert. No, not like that, but I mean, never mind.
And that other stripper's sitting on that guy's lap, just like Annalie used to do.
I guess.
And that stripper only has 1 tooth, just like Annalie.
Quagmire, you feeling okay?
I don't know.
And he realizes, OMG, he doesn't have the excuse of going out and getting cigarettes and milk. He abandoned Annalie to go get those cigarettes and that milk.
I think I might have made a terrible mistake. I abandoned my daughter. Why did I give away my only daughter? Oh, God!
Glenn, it's good you got it, but your only daughter? I abandoned my only daughter! Despite the fact I probably have like 20 more who would be itching to see me. But no, this specific daughter. This one in particular. Also, I forgot about this joke, which is funnier to me now.
You boys have been very naughty. I'm gonna have to assign you extra homework.
Darn it, fractions are so hard. What'd you get for number 4?
She said don't share answers!
No, by the Danielson rubric, which between you and me is a crock of crap, even Danielson herself said she did not want it used in schools, you are allowed to share answers, you just need to turn in your own work. Now, Joe, be a good friend and help your fellow student. Quagmire tracks down Annalee's new residence, which actually looks like way better than Glenn's, no offense, and tries to abduct her. And Joe, a police officer, is totally fine with him breaking the law, beyond the fact he can't go up the stairs due to being a paraplegic and all. Sorry, Joe.
Well, it's just me and my old nemesis. First step.
Hey, Joe, what you doing? You out for a walk?
I hate this block.
I wonder what Joe thinks about that one joke from Drawn Together. I mean, I know Alex Borstein was in it, but Quagmire realizes her new parents are a lot better towards her. She's actually gonna be loved and wanted, so he leaves her be.
Look at her. She looks so happy. Almost like she belongs there. They look like a real family.
Even though, oh my god, I'm gonna repeat myself. Like, you can't just knock on the door, explain the situation, I'm sure they'd be fine with it. But by Family Guy standards, they actually have a good ending, because it's both emotionally good in a good way, and it's kind of crossing the line twice.
Hey, who knows? Maybe I'll bump into her in 18 years.
What?
Did you really think I was gonna change that much? Get out, everybody!
You didn't change at all this episode. If anything, you just went back to how you originally were. But before we move on to Courtney, I have a few things to address. Primarily, I feel like by this point, Quagmire has no right to criticize Brian's choices as a father, when he did the exact same thing tenfold. Because you know this is killing me, because I really hate to say it. Like, I really do. Like, oh my god, my neck. But Brian is arguably a better father than Quagmire, at least in that one episode. Maybe not in Brian's a Bad Father, because they had to rewrite him to be a bad father to make that episode work, but definitely in former life of Brian. You guys know my opinion on the matter. To be a deadbeat father, you need to know you have responsibilities you are ignoring or running away from. At least with Courtney, he legitimately had no clue she existed, so he can't be a deadbeat to her. And even with Annalee, when he found out that she existed, he reluctantly did take on those responsibilities, so he wasn't a deadbeat yet. But he didn't know that she existed until she was literally on his doorstep. But to all of those other kids I named, like the Spanish one or the 4th graders, he is definitely a deadbeat. Brian himself was not a deadbeat to Dylan until Brian's a Bad Father. He had no clue until Dylan was nearly a grown adult, and could therefore make his own choice about whether or not he wanted his father in his life.
So, Dylan, shouldn't you be in school?
I don't know.
It's Wednesday.
Up yours!
Plus, when the two met, they mutually agreed that they did not like the other, and they did not want to be with the other. It was Tracy who forced Brian to look after Dylan, since she outright did not want him. Plus, I hate to say it, I can kinda get why Dylan is acting out. Even if at the time he was a delinquent who probably would be doing this otherwise. He doesn't want to be there, he's making that clear to everyone, he hasn't really been disciplined, I'd argued, and he likely resents the fact his mother outright gave him away to somebody he does not like. And he doesn't like Brian in general. He probably doesn't like the fact Brian was never there for him. Because while yeah, Brian had no clue he existed, try telling that to a kid. All they know is you were not there, and my life is way worse off for it. No wonder he's doing all this. It's when Brian is able to break through his shell via the magic that is weed. Yesterday was 420. That Brian does come around, and he does become a pretty good dad, I'd argue.
Yeah! Hey, can I drive today?
Oh, this kid. He's only 13.
I know, I was just kidding.
Oh, we got a young Adam Sandler here.
Rather, if you want to blame anybody for this prior to Brian's a Bad Father, blame the Griffins. They're the reason he went downhill. The Griffins got rid of Dylan, or conspired to do so, because Parenthood was turning Brian into a word that rhymes with swoosh.
Lois, I will decide what is best for my child, all right?
Look, will you take it easy?
And I do not want to have this conversation in front of my son.
Which, yeah, it is kind of annoying, but Dylan didn't really, say he didn't like it. If it was something like Dylan was like, Dad, it's really not necessary, then yeah, they would have a point, but they just wanted to make things easier for them. So yeah, screw Peter and screw Lois. Dylan, however, did choose to leave at the end of the episode because he wanted to help his mother, and he left on good terms with his own father. And the ending made it clear that they could have easily continued to see each other off screen. Dylan has his cell phone, and Brian is the type where he would still talk to his family. I mean, he still does talk to Jasper considering Brian's play. It wasn't until the later seasons finally settled on the idea that Brian was a self-centered jerk that they decided that Brian just up and abandoned Dylan. Like, kicked him like a football into a dumpster like a prom night dumpster baby. When that wasn't what happened. Honestly, this is more so along the lines of what Quagmire did. Like, I don't know if they just wanted to make him as bad as Quagmire or something, because they really got their wires crossed. But okay, we've gotten to Courtney. Quagmire's other daughter that's like 18 times her sister's age. No Giggity, no doubt, finally has Anna Lee come back, but be replaced by a different older sister with different hair named Courtney. I'm just saying, when I initially heard about this episode a few years back, I thought it was something like Anna Lee somehow returned, because this is Family Guy. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for them to do the Ash Ketchum thing where nobody ages, but Quagmire somehow has a daughter who's a newborn and now 18 and in high school. I mean, they did bring up that technically Dylan should be like a 5-year-old if at that, because Brian is a dog, and they're like, yeah, screw it, he's just gonna be 18.
But how can you possibly have a 13-year-old son when you yourself are only 7?
Well, those are dog years.
That doesn't make any sense.
You know what, Stewie? If you don't like it, go on the internet and complain.
Or maybe they could say she has the same mom or they're related or something. I don't know. But let's see what they do with Quagmire's daughter, Courtney, who, fun fact, again, I'm gonna keep bringing this up, is voiced by Mandy Moore, one of my all-time favorite actresses. And also, fun fact, Anna Lee is voiced by Mae Whitman, which I didn't realize she's basically one of their most reoccurring voice actresses. Mae Whitman also voiced Steve's daughter, Glitter, in American Dad, and I might want to get to that episode one day. But okay, enough stalling. Episode time! The guys are at the Clam one day, wearing a bunch of sports stuff for some odd reason. Really, they never explain it, like if they just came back from a football game or whatever. And they spy across the bar a bunch of other drunker dudes wearing their own sports stuff. Kitty, why are you calling it sports stuff? You know me. I have no idea what sports are, or what teams are, or how they work, except for the Cowboys, and only because I watch King of the Hill. And not the newer Cowboys, the old school ones from Tom Landry. I have no clue how to research any of that stuff either, no joke. You guys know I rely on you to tell me who's playing the Super Bowl each year, and I rely on you to tell me who those teams are. You are a very boring person, aren't you? I am, aren't I? Peter overhears the sports dudes talking about the concept of party buses, which they are going to use to get to the sports games, aka buses where they play music, and the main thing you do is just play music really loudly and drink and dance while you drive around the city or get from place to place.
Bus for partying? Oh, that sounds awesome. Like a pair of Pete's headphones.
Oh my god, I hate party buses. I had to go on one because I was at my cousin's bridal party. I find them so overstimulating. And unlike a normal club or party, it's on a moving street, so you can't leave even if you wanted to. Say what you want about cons, at least they invented quiet rooms. Yeah, that rhymes. And there's no way you can turn the sound off because everybody else is having a good time. That kind of goes against it. It's just, I don't know. I like normal buses and trains. I just hate party buses and trains. Peter begins to develop a love of party buses so intensely that he neglects the rest of the family to go do them, rather than invite them on. Like, Meg's 18, Lois would probably do it. Maybe he wants guy trips like he saw with the sports dudes. Admittedly, this is a later season episode, so they do indulge in the lazy explain the joke before we actually do the joke thing, because clearly we viewers can't get it.
Send them another infuriating check-in text. Hello?
But there is a funny moment here and there. Like, no joke, this actually got me to laugh, no joke.
Hey, you cut me off!
What? Turn down your radio.
I can't. My stomach's pressed up against the dial. You want to go?
Wait, how did he even get in the car in the first place? Is it like a Flintstones car? Does he live in that car? Does he have to use the bathroom with the car? Is he stuck in the car? That would actually make a good episode, not gonna lie. During their time party busing, because this is gonna be important later, they hang out with some firefighters, which honestly sounds kinda cool.
Forget? No way, you're too bossed and strong to ever forget. Let's roll. Civil servants with hero complexes.
Plus, we know Joe has a rivalry with them because he's a cop and all, so it's nice to see they either move past it or they put their rivalry aside to have fun. 6 of 1. Yeah, that rhymes. They also end up partying on a boat, which is on my bucket list. But not one of those fun boats. It's one of those annoying speedboats I hate. Like, oh my god, I thought party buses were bad.
I'm beginning to think those vodka cranberries may have had alcohol in them.
Admittedly, though, good callback to when his neck snapped during the new Brian. Finally, they go to a party bus headed for a prom. Really? This is a party bus? Like, they're just sitting there all normal? It's a fun, normal bus, though. But really, guys? I mean, good idea, but Joe is a cop, and he has a civic duty to be sure these kids are protected on one of the most important nights of their lives.
I'm a cop, but I'm not a narc.
Cool cop! Cool cop!
Aw, Joe, I want to party with you now. You seem like you'd be a cool uncle. I mean, you are to Meg. They make it to the Newport Hotel where the prom is being held, and it's for Adam West High, not James Woods High, because later in the episode, we do indeed see Adam and Angela's ghosts. Wait, what about Muriel Goldman's ghost? Ooh, the show really hated her, didn't they? Although I will say that later joke also includes basically all of the Seth MacFarlane characters they could cram, so I liked how they brought back the Cleveland show if only once, and the American Dad characters, but we have an episode to review. At the prom, all of the chaperones get these really cute suffragette prom stashes, which I love, and I love that Meg is there too.
Oh, going stag tonight, Meg?
Oh, no. I brought someone.
Hello, I'm in love with Meg.
Well, now, I'm very sorry I asked.
Guys, I have a question. Is that what I look like when I'm holding Fizz? I just like him because as a cosplayer, you tend to adopt children who can't talk back to you, and he helps me stim. He is my son. Also, another joke.
The end of high school. Tonight, we pass around Stifler's mom, and in the morning, it's off to die quick in Vietnam.
Peter, I think you're getting your movies mixed up.
That actually sounds like a good movie, I'm not even joking. At the refreshment stand, Quagmire runs into Courtney, who makes the point she is indeed 18, which he has recorded on a tape recorder.
Hello, gorgeous. How old are you?
18.
All right, and I just recorded you saying that, and hi, I am Glenn Quagmire.
Ew, just ew. Like, did you learn nothing from Quagmire's mom? Well, the episode did end with us being told he didn't it, Kitty? Yeah, true, Catherine. But the point is, no, it's still terrible. You shouldn't be prowling around a high school, period. I mean, maybe if you're going to see Chris or Meg, but besides that, no, this is disgusting. That goes for all of you. All of you. It's disgusting. No. And as much as you want to criticize Brian, you are just as bad as him. In Scammed Yankees, Brian tried to sleep with a girl who was in high school, but it was perfectly okay because he's Brian, and said girl was 18, which is still disgusting, and he only really went with her because she had a nice body, which is disgusting to even say. She's basically a kid. Did you not watch BoJack? Just because something is legal doesn't always mean it's correct, or at least morally so. Quagmire, you're easily over the age of 20. You don't date anybody unless they're old enough to drink. Weirdly, I think the only thing he did learn from Quagmire's mom was to be more careful, since he does get a recording of Courtney stating her age. In some jurisdictions, to my knowledge, you can use that as a defense against statutory. Like the younger party lied about their age, so maybe Quagmire is covering all his bases in case he gets taken to court again. Like, oh no, it's not my fault, she told me so, I thought I was doing something legal. When back in Quagmire's mom, he really had no defense besides the fact his mother was never really there for him. Which honestly, all of this stuff, again, I do not approve of, and from a legal standpoint, it does him no favors to be in a high school when this occurs, because they can be like, well, what were you even doing there in the first place? But still, good on him for at least being thorough. The pair dance, and Quagmire invites her to his house for an after party of sorts to do, oh my god, Glenn, you're disgusting! Again, while I immensely dislike what Quagmire is doing here, I do think it is a teeny tiny bit of character development that he is at least being thorough. Like having her sign various forms and waivers in case of anything legal occurring. Like she can't sue him, or she knows what's gonna happen. They start to do things, and well...
Giggity!
Wait, did you just say giggity?
Yeah, sorry.
Young lady, what did you just say? It was giggity, kitty. I was being rhetorical, Catherine. God. Seriously, Quagmire starts to get suspicious, so he prods for more answers. Again, I think this episode does show a fair bit of character development for Quagmire from these previous episodes, albeit not because of Quagmire's mom in this case. This time, it's from Quagmire's baby. In that episode, he needed solid proof that Anna Lee was his daughter, which took a few scenes. Here, he has a rapid DNA test on the ready by his bedside, just in case. It makes me wonder if Courtney is the first time this happened, where he almost slept with somebody he thought was his daughter, or if he knows that by now, some of his potential offspring are old enough where he might run into difficulty, so he doesn't want a repeat of Oedipus Rex. Because needles to the eye after you discover the truth are not fun, dudes, but the test is positive, and Quagmire realizes the truth and realizes, holy heck, she is indeed his daughter.
Daughter?
Oh my god!
Wow.
Ew! Not only did Quagmire try to sleep with a high schooler knowingly, he unknowingly tried to sleep with his own daughter! And there was physical contact. At least they figured out this whole kerfuffle before they went any further than a gentleman arm hold or a hug, which is perfectly natural, I guess, to do with your father. Like, I already brought up Oedipus, but did anybody read that sequel book about his daughter and they, like, lock her in, like, a room and something? I don't know. That one is crazy. Also, I don't know if I said it yet. You said it, like, twice, Kitty. I'm saying it again. I like Mandy more as Courtney's voice actress. Normally, when Family Guy employs guest stars, you can kind of hear it, for lack of a better word, where they aren't bad at it, but you know they probably aren't used to being VAs, and they probably were chosen by the network or because they're friends with Seth. And voice acting is very hard. Like, you try doing it, and then you try watching a show, you can, like, hear the difference between who's used to doing it and who's just doing it for the one episode. Mandy Moore is a really good VA, which I feel like she kind of has to, considering how she worked for Disney, and they only bring in the good people. Like, I had no clue that was her until I did some research. After they clear up the misunderstanding, Courtney reveals that she has always wanted to meet her birth father, mostly because she never knew her own mother, which gives me questions, and was hoping Glenn could fill her in or at least say something.
Oh gosh, she was just so word on the bottom of your coffee cup.
I always knew she would be.
Reminds me of BoJack with Hollyhock and BoJack, and it gives me questions about Courtney's life story. Of course, Glenn knows nothing about her mother, and they can't just make this its own episode. I mean, they crap on BoJack all the time, since 23andMe clearly isn't a thing, and neither is Ancestry.com, but he BS's his way through it. All we know about Courtney is she's basically homeless, and she raises ferrets, which really does suck. She's like 18, so Quagmire at least lets her move in.
You know, you can move in here. I have an extra bedroom, and the bed has a bunch of different-sized pillows on it.
I do love dealing with those pillows every day.
Dude, I'm a girl and I hate different sized pillows. I like one pillow. Or I use my hand. I mean, I use my arm. I like different sized blankies instead. But I think weirdly Courtney is a better second chance for Glenn than Anna Lee. Like, it sucks he wasn't there her whole life, but she is a bit older, so Quagmire doesn't have to worry about her scaring off her dates, and she knows what he's like, so he can adjust himself around her. And hey, he can better bond with her. Anyway, because Quagmire and Brian totally aren't two sides of the same coin, Quagmire ends up becoming a daddy. Not like that, like a normal dad. Like, he cosplays the dad from Leave It to Beaver. And strangely, he starts to respect women, so long as they're related to him by blood. I mean, he respects Ida, so much so that he beat up Brian in her honor, and he respects his sister so much that he outright said it was her fault that Jeff was abusing her.
Okay, Peter, can I talk to you for a second? I'm sorry, but I am not going to stand for any misogyny. Stop acting like a Neanderthal pig.
Those sound scary.
Quagmire, I appreciate the myopic character development, but you're one to talk. But I do appreciate how good he is as a dad. Like, he goes to Courtney's events like her gymnastics, and he acts like a mom. And he even protests her score, feeling she should have gotten a higher one.
9.2? 9.2? 9.2? 9.2?
No joke, this got me to laugh out loud, even if it does go on for way too long and then it repeats. At least it's better than that one joke from Con Airs where they did it like 3 times and it went on for like 3 minutes. He also takes her to take my daughter to work day, which realistically I do not see happening in this world. And then he lets her fly the plane, which even more realistically I don't see happening. They don't even let you, like, steer the monorail anymore on Disney.
Atta girl, perfect!
I mean, he almost killed people with his plane, but at least he's cool with it. And finally, he takes Courtney to dinner with the Griffins because whenever one of Peter's friends has big news, as they are only supporting characters in the side story, they have to go to the Griffin residence.
Yo, Courtney, what's your Instagram? I just got on there.
Oh god, Brian is there, and he's gonna do something stupid. Quagmire, do your thing as a dad and protect your daughter from this scum!
Oh, you'll have to ask my dad. He approves all my follow requests.
Denied!
Good job, even if I disagree with approving her friend requests. She is old enough. Quagmire says they're going camping and invites Meg and Peter to help with the bonding exercise, which, considering the twist at the end that he secretly hates acting like the Waltons but think he has to, I think maybe he just wanted them there for backup. And now that I think about it, it's weird that Meg and Courtney do not really know each other despite attending the same school. Like, Adam West High is small enough, I feel like they would at least know each other. Like, Glenn literally had to introduce the pair. Like, do you remember Meg from school? We don't even get something like that. Peter doesn't want to go because nature is scary, and he for some reason cannot take Seamus.
I heard my name too. I'm in. No? I'll drive, buy snacks. No? Okay.
I would take you, Seamus. Not like that, but you seem like you'd be fun to hang out with. They go camping, which honestly, even though I do think nature is kind of scary, I would like to do one day, and Peter acts like a stick in the mud.
Are you eating an apple with a knife? God, that's always so forced.
Not tell that to Game of Thrones. During the trek, they get lost and the dads fight, and Quagmire reveals what I just said. He hates doing all of this.
I'm not Dad! I'm Quagmire! Glenn Quagmire! Giggity giggity! I don't want to be out here. I hate camping! And what the hell was the theme of that stupid prom?
Okay, then stop doing that. Courtney's not asking you. I mean, she wants you to be there for her, but I don't think she'd want you to do all this. And plus, it's clearly making you miserable. Being a dad a lot of the time is just providing for your child and making sure they don't die. And being sure when they go to you for advice, you have the right one. And so far, you have been pretty good in this regard. Hey, that rhymes.
Not here, lost in the woods, looking at this stupid map with a magnifying glass. Ah!
I stand corrected. Quagmire asks Courtney for a modicum of forgiveness and a second chance if they do make it out, since he clearly isn't Brian.
I promise, if we make it out of here, we can start again. Deal?
Deal.
Lying liar who lies. I mean, you even hug the same way. Like that weirdo stupid smile with the head tilt and then the nod, and then you both embrace, and then you're like, aw. Like, I thought all the Family Guy characters fell the same way. I guess they hug the same way too. They survive from the firefighters from earlier. Oh, that's a good way to tie in the earlier scene. And that's it. Wait, what happened to Courtney? Seriously. At least you gave a good excuse as to why we never see Anna Lee again. Like, they repair their relationship and that's it. Like, they even made the point Courtney is homeless, so what is going on with this girl? Okay, review over. I need to go to Vegas. Hope to see you guys at Level Up Expo, and bye.